Hello and welcome to Boss Rush Island 2. Today we're up against Phayze and we will be getting 109 pops. Start off with Sada on Strong and a 1-2-0 Monkey Ace. And then the two powers that I like to use are Attack Bot for Sada. It's not really needed, but it's going to help out with Sada and it's pretty nice later. And then I just get a Farmer right about here. Placement doesn't have to be exact, but stays pretty well out the way like this. We're going to be rushing up a fighter plane, which means we'll be upgrading to a 2-2-0 and then a 3-2-0 right as fast as possible. Our next upgrade will of course be the 4-2-0 Operation Dartstorm. Against Phayze, this is always just an amazing start because the camo upgrade allows the bombs and those darts to deal double damage against Phayze, so that's great. One thing to keep in mind is just do not use the Embrittlement Ice Monkey because that will be decamoing Phayze, so you don't get the double damage. Next, we're going to get up a second fighter plane, 3-2-0, and then upgrade it to a 4-2-0. And then we're going to be going for one more fighter plane, 3-2-0, then 4-2-0. If you guys are watching this guide this far, I assume it's going to help you out. So be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and use code YOBOY, that's YOBOI, to purchase Monkey Money or Monkey Knowledge, whatever. Up next, we're going to get a 3-2-0 Desperado on Strong here at the bottom middle of this middle of the map, and then once we're at $5,000, which should be at 22 skulls, we're selling both of the ODSs, or not both, 2 out of 3 of the ODSs in exchange for the Blazing Sun, and then we're going to quickly get up a balloon trap. You shouldn't die even if it's slow, and then we're just going to get a 202 village to buff Desperado and provide discounts later on. Once we hit about $20,000, we will be selling our Desperado in exchange for the Sky Shredder because it is a very, very powerful upgrade. As I said, double damage against Phayze, pretty amazing. And then we're just going to be getting a Cleansing Foam, who we target away from the track so that we do not decamo Phayze, otherwise we're getting half our damage. And then upgrade to an Overclock as soon as possible, and make sure that your trap is, following around with Phayze. So once we get to 30 pops, or 40 pops, we're going to be moving the trap over. Get up a 204 Monkey Village, and then we're going to be saving up for the XXL trap. Of course, make sure to be overclocking your Sky Shredder, and once you get the trap, be sure to follow where the portal is. You should see a little portal. I am at 50%. Accessibility settings, but the portal is bigger regularly, and every time Phayze is about to hit, you can see it's at 49.5, so we are about to have to move the balloon trap, so just make sure it's following Phayze, and get yourself a 240 Dartling gun, and you're going to want to not overclock the Sky Shredder when you're saving up for this, so that you can overclock the Dartling instead. I make that mistake, but don't worry about it. Even if you overclock the Sky Shredder, it's alright. We're going to immediately get up a second overclock and then a 0-2-4 Monkey Ace. This is all quite fast, so sorry about that. I have it sped up just for video length's sake, but yeah. You're going to want to make sure to keep on following with your balloon trap, so at 60 skulls, follow it. It's kind of annoying, I forget to later, but it's very important. And we're going to get up the Flying Fortress, which is an amazing upgrade. And you're just going to make sure you're overclocking both the Flying Fortress and the MAD. Make sure anytime you're using the MAD ability, it's definitely overclocked. And then we get up a third overclock here, just to have full uptime on both of them. And just make sure you're targeting the MAD and overclocking everything. It's going to get really painful here because there's no Paragons you can go for, except for the Ice, who will immediately die to DDCs, which is super lovely. So we're just going to be using a ton of abilities here. Get a Call to Arms, and then after you use it, get up a second Call to Arms, because, less downtime than going straight for a homeland. And make sure you're targeting your balloon trap. I forgot to around the 70 skull mark, but you should have. And then at the 80 skull mark, you can make the decision yourself. If it's close enough to be actually making you money, then you can keep around the balloon trap. Otherwise, sell it, get a perma brew, get a homeland on the call to arms that is closest to being ready, so you don't want to upgrade a homeland, or you don't want to upgrade a call to arms that you just used, otherwise you won't get the homeland buff. And up next, we're going for a Sky Shredder. You can see mine is actually out of range of the permanent brew, and if that happens, don't you worry about it. We're just going to be getting up a 040 Desperado to buff up the perma brew's range. The Desperado monkey gives 50% more range, which pretty much means you won't really have to worry. So buff your alchemist range and just make sure that you are using your call to arms and homelands when the other one's down. So if you look at my screen, you'll see that I'm using the call to arms when homeland is halfway through. Anyways, we're going to go for the access of snipers here, which just means all 3 tier 5s. That's what the axis means in this game. And just make sure you're continuing to boost everything, or not everything, boost your MAD and your Flying Fortress with the overclock, boost the Alchemist with the range, and then just upgrade your snipers, all tier 5s, all set to strong targeting. Elite is fine as well. Nothing will be ahead of Phayze, so you shouldn't have to worry too hard. First is also okay, just, place it down. Get up a 520 Desperado. It's very price efficient. It's not going to add too terribly much damage, but nothing really will at this point. So yeah, just make sure you are jungle drumsing everything. So I get a jungle drum specifically for the Desperado, and then another for the snipers because they're both out of range of my central village. And here I make a mistake. Alright, what I go for is a bunch of 204 and 205 Comanche defenders and Comanche commanders. That's not how this game works. You need to be able to see camo in order to damage Phayze. So you want to be going for 024 and 025 helis. Alternatively, if you don't want to place as many things, you could get the top path heli, which is the Apache Prime. That's going to be able to take just a bunch of your money away from you, so pretty much we just want to spend your money on whatever you can. Don't get anything that decamos Phayze. I do make the mistake of having the overclocks. The cleansing phone is still in the top right hand corner, which means it is decamoing Phayze and costing a lot of damage. So you guys could probably get 110 pretty easily. I doubt you could get too much more. I mean, I think it's possible to get 120, but just not worth it on a island number 2. So yeah, just keep on spamming 024s, okay? Don't place down 204s. I know it's kind of annoying because you want them on pursuit, which is why I did it, but as you can see, these are targeting the ZOMGs and not actually the boss. So yeah, it's just not ideal, but you could honestly ignore this part. You don't have to place the helis. You'll get the same score as me, and just focus on overclocking everything. Maybe you can upgrade to an ultra boost, whatever. Just target the MAD, overclock, and use call to arms and homeland as you can. It's really annoying to manage all of the abilities, but I believe in you. I can do it, so can you. My ADHD goes crazy in these bosses, but I wish you all the best of luck. Please leave a like, subscribe, comment any map guides you want. Use code YOBOY, YOBOI, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Peace.